It's not so much holding up. I think we have different concepts. I have a tariff concept. Mark has a different concept, which is something that some people like. But we're going to see if we can get to the bottom of it today. I'm a tariff person. I've always been a tariff. It's simple, it's easy, it's precise, and it just goes very quickly. And I think Mark has a more complex idea, but also very good. So we're going to look at both, and we're going to see what we're going to come out with something, hopefully.
Do you feel is achievable within days, within weeks? Is there that kind of runway?
Yeah, it's achievable. Both parties have to agree. Yeah, sure.
Well, the time has finally come. Donald Trump is in Canada for the G7 summit. What's going on? It's D.A. Bourne. Welcome to Born with Purpose. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And you know, as always, I greatly appreciate it. All right, saw Air Force One come into Calgary. Trump is in Alberta, and he's already, making headlines because that's what Trump does. He makes headlines. But you know what? As much as you saw in the clip, him and Carney are trying to work out a deal with the tariffs, and obviously Carney wants some kind of a good approach that will put Canada and US back on better terms. And Trump is obviously pro tariffs, right? But here's the thing: as much as they may come up with an agreement while they're here, while Trump is on Canadian soil, I still believe that's a short-term thing. The long-term thing is what is going to happen between meetings with Trump, Daniel Smith, and the province of Alberta. That's right. Because look at this, man. Because as much as, Canada's focused on Ontario almost pretty much runs most of Canada. Everything evolves around Ontario. Alberta's been misrepresented, disrespected for who knows how long. A long time. And obviously with the Liberal government in power, and Alberta's always been a conservative province. Now is the time to take some action. Now is the time that Trump is now on Alberta soil. And it's not like he knows what Alberta is all about. But this is his chance now, as his second term as US president, to view Alberta from his eyes and see if it's worth investing. And what can I say? If I'm a prime minister or a president, of course Alberta is worth looking into. Alberta is the province with the energy. Alberta is the province with the oil. Alberta is the province that their biggest trade partner is the US. And despite what the left in Ontario people may think, Alberta is the richest province in Canada. Like I said, Alberta is the Texas of Canada. And like Texas, they have a lot of things in common. The Western atmosphere, the conservative views, which of course align with Trump. Well, Trump's government, because they are on the conservative side, they're on the Republican side. They are full right wing, and Alberta is rich with resources. So, but it obviously, what has to happen? And if you're watching this from outside of Canada, what really has to happen is basically Albertans have been quite upset with the way they are treated by the rest of Canada and the Liberal government. So in order for anything to take action, the first thing they have to do is when they have to have an election to vote to see if Alberta wants to separate from Canada. Albertans get to vote. Do you want to stay with Canada, or do you want to become your own country? If the results are no, Alberta sticks with Canada. End of story. However, if Albertans say, yes, we want to separate, and it's more than 50%, then the premier has to take action and make it happen. This has never happened in Canada before. I mean, Quebec has talked about it many times, but they've never had the balls to actually go forth and make Quebec their own country, even though I have not gone to Quebec, but people tell me when they go to Quebec, it feels like a different country anyway, especially Quebec City. So if this, let's say this does happen, it is a very complex situation. However, it gives Alberta 3 options. 1, they could remain a country on their own. 2, they could become a territory of the US, or they could become a 51st state. And look, if Alberta goes on its own, do you think Donald Trump is not going to jump on that opportunity to say, look, you join us, you have no tariffs, you know, no state tax, obviously, you're richer in resources. Why not? Just join the club. Canada's already not giving you what you want. Canada's disrespected you. We won't disrespect you like that. And trust me, then we have a whole new ball game. But like I said, it's more complicated than people will be led to believe. It's not like, oh, can you join us? We'll start tomorrow. No, this will be months of complexities. It will be lots and lots of money spent. It will be a lot of tension between Canada and Alberta itself. And you'll also have Albertans that, you know, there's some Albertans who obviously don't want to separate from Canada. They want things to work out. So it's not as easy as it would seem as people want it. But the key word there is want. If there's enough people in Alberta, they want this to happen, and a separatist vote goes ahead, then it can happen. Like I said, it's a wait and see game. But like I said, things don't happen just by coincidence. I mean, it's just so crazy that the G7 is in Alberta when all this talks have been going on this year about Alberta separating from Canada. And it's really a wait and see. So, I mean, Daniel Smith has already met with the US ambassador to Canada and said that, you know, they want to develop a great relationship with the US. She ain't talking about Canada, she's talking about Alberta. So Daniel Smith is looking out for Alberta, not Canada. Carney's looking out for Canada, of course, but Daniel Smith is looking out for Alberta. Whatever works best for Alberta. And what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this? Do you want to see Alberta separate from Canada? Me personally, here's how I look at it. Like, I'm not a fan of the current government. And a lot of people are right now. Carney's ratings have gone up. But that's because he's in his honeymoon phase. He really hasn't done anything yet to freak Canadians out. So my view is this. If Alberta believes they can be on their own, I can't hate on them for that. Because this Canada's been screwing up Canadians for so long, especially this current government. So if they got different views and they want to do their own thing, you know, more power to them. But at the same time, being a Canadian, I love Alberta, and I would not want to see Alberta separate from Canada. But like I said, if you got to do what you got to do to make yourself more successful, then you do what you got to do. Because think about it like this. If Alberta is on its own, it will be one of the richest countries in the world. Not just North America, the world, based on the resources they have. So, yeah, Alberta's been disrespected by Canada for a long time. They should have more seats in the House of Commons. They should have more say in what's going on. And, you know, sometimes you gotta make some big moves in order for the Canadian government to wake up and say, hey, let's treat Alberta a little bit better than what we have. All right? Let's see what's best for the West. But anyway, I want to know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe to Born with Purpose. And I'm going to just throw this other link. If you like travel information and you like to know about other travel stuff, go check out my second channel. It's in the Born series now, a second Born channel, Born to Travel. If you feel you're born to travel, go click on the link below and subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. But until then, I am out. God bless. Peace.